Tenant tip number 2, Eviction 101, non-payment of rent. 70% of evictions in Vermont are due to non-payment of rent and no other reason. Financial difficulties can happen to anyone. We all need to understand the eviction process. Finding yourself unable to pay the rent and facing an eviction is stressful. The eviction process can take months, dragging out that stress. It may help to understand the process and know where you can get help. First, it's important to know that in Vermont, it's illegal for a landlord to change the locks, shut off the utilities, or remove your stuff to get you to move. Landlords have to go through a court process. So what if you get behind in your rent and the landlord starts an eviction process? What can you expect? You'll know your landlord has started an eviction process when they send a 14-day notice of termination, sometimes called a notice to quit. This must be in writing and may be slipped in the door and hand-delivered or mailed. This is the time to get help. If you are at risk of homelessness or need help paying back rent, please call your local community action office as they may be able to help. Remember, at this point and at any time in the eviction process, if you pay all rent that is due and any court fees, you can file a motion to dismiss the eviction and stay in your home. If you do not move out after 14 days, the landlord will file a summons and complaint. The summons is calling you into court, and the complaint is a list of reasons why. Most likely, the landlord will also file a motion for rent into court, meaning they will ask the court to order you to pay your rent into a court escrow account during the eviction process. You will be asked to go to a hearing in court when the judge will decide if you need to do this and how much you need to pay. It's important to pay rent into court if you are ordered to do so. If you don't, the landlord can immediately file for a writ of possession and you need to move in 5 days. You, the tenant, have 21 days to file an answer in court. This is the time to get legal help with Vermont Legal Aid. The answer must be filed in a legal way, not just a letter explaining your bad circumstances. For every complaint the landlord has made, you need to agree or disagree. If the answer is not filed properly, the court may not accept it and issue a default judgment to the landlord. Next, you and your landlord will go to a court hearing before a judge who will hear both sides. The judge may help you work out a repayment plan, and the eviction process will take some time while you make payments. Or if the judge cannot help you work things out with your landlord, they will issue a writ of possession, which is a court order allowing the landlord to take back the apartment. The sheriff will serve you the writ of possession, and 14 days later, if you have not moved out, the sheriff will come back to remove you, not your belongings. Your belongings will be stored for only 15 days, and you may have to pay to get them back. So that's a very basic overview of how an eviction goes. Most importantly, please get help right away if you receive a notice of termination. Right now, in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, there are a few protections in place for tenants around evictions. First, the Federal CARES Act included a stay on evictions for non-payment of rent in federally subsidized housing programs, including Section 8 housing, public housing, and properties with federally backed mortgages. The stay ends July 25, 2020. Please call Vermont Legal Aid for advice about whether your situation is covered. Also, the Vermont legislature has passed a bill which stays evictions for non-payment of rent for 30 days after the governor's emergency order. For evictions caused by violations of a lease, the stay is only until the emergency order ends. So now that you know the basic eviction process, please watch our next video to learn from community action folks about how to get help. As always, please call our tenant hotline at 802-864-0099 if you have questions. Through our hotline, we provide information and referrals on leases, security deposits, repairs, evictions, and more. Vermont Tenants also provides classes, workshops, and advocacy for tenants. Thank you for watching.